welcome to my Friday video. I have a card for you today. Now, I'm sort of thinking that this is a Mother's Day card, but you can do anything with it you want. You can also make this into an Easter card, but it's not just a pretty card. It is a fun fold. There we go. And hold it where you can see it in the camera. Think. There we go. And I'll tie it back up in a few minutes. So hopefully this is something that's going to entertain you guys. It is it's very easy to make. So let's get going. Okay, looks like I've got it all set up now. We're going to start out, we're going to make two cards. So we're going to make a card base first, and then we're going to make a mini card. Now, what it is we'll put one together and then the other one together. And I've got my, want to make sure I give you guys the right measurements. So we can make sure I get this up here so I can read it. All right. I am starting off with a piece of Petal Pink cardstock. If you're working in metric with me, it is 21 centimeters by 11. And if you are working in Imperial, we have 8 1/4. And then this way we have 4 1/4. We're going to burnish. Well, yes, we will be burnishing it. We're going to score it as 7 centimeters or 5.5. Then we're going to give this a fold. And now we burnish. All right, and now we have cut 2 pieces of Designer Series paper for this flap and 1 piece for this flap. So this short side, we have 6.5 centimeters this way and 10.5 centimeters that way. Now we want 2 of those. And then for this inside piece, this is going to be 13.5 going across the top, and down the side is 10.5. Or if you're working Imperial, it's 5 1/4 by 4. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue these down for you guys, and then we can set this aside for quite a while, because the more interesting things go on the mini card that sort of sits on top. I don't know how many of you guys have made this fun fold before. This is one that's been around a long time. The first time I saw this was almost 2 years ago, and I made one. I wasn't a demonstrator back then. I just made one for myself, and I loved it, and I remembered it. So I looked up the stuff, whatever you want to call it, the stats and everything. I found the old video. It's the amazing Terry Walker. If you don't follow her at all, I highly recommend her channel. It's Nuts About Stamping, and I'll put a link to her site for you guys. But the measurements do all come from her. This is not my original design. However, I have seen this done several times. I believe I think Jackie Bullhouse has one like this. It's very similar, if it's not just like it. I don't know what her numbers are, but she has she's got to be the queen of fun fold, in my opinion. All right, so we just line these up here. You can probably, oh dear, scoot. Want to leave an even border all the way around. And now we've got our base set up. We're just going to set this aside. Now for the next piece, we're making a mini card that sits on top. And now this one is, let me get my measurements back up here. They keep going away. I thought, oh, well, I'll put this up on the computer screen, and that'll be ever so fast, and I can just do it that way. But no, it doesn't work that way, does it? All right, so for the mini card, again, I'm using a piece of Petal Pink, and this is going to be 20.5 centimeters by 7.5 centimeters. And if you were working in metric, we've got 8 by 3 inches. Now, this is going to fold this way. We're going backwards here. And well, I had to look up the video again because my memory was, not what it should be. But I put it together wrong. I put it together this way and I couldn't figure out. I went, well, it's supposed to fold over. What am I doing? And then I realized, oh, whoops, it should have gone that way. But that's what we do, right? All right, we have cut 2 pieces for the top. This is another piece of that DSP. This all comes from the Flight and Airy, which is now free with the celebration. So if you like this stamp set that I'm using, get the stamp and die set, and then you can order the paper for free. It's free is always really good. So I used yet another piece from it. And I have cut a piece on top, and we're going to be stamping on this. So this piece, this bottom bit here, is 9.7 by 7 centimeters. And if you're working in Imperial, it's 3 3/4 by 2 3/4 going down this way. And the top piece is 5 centimeters or 1/4 of an inch shorter all the way around, which works out to be 9.3 going across the top and 6.5 going down. Or again, if you're working in Imperial, 3.5 by 2.5. So we're going to set these aside a moment. Now this is cut. This is what I call a card liner inside, however you want to say it. But this is the same as this piece here. So again, if you missed that the first time I said it, it is 9.7 this way, 7 centimeters down, 3 3/4 by 2 3/4 down. Now we're going to do some stamping now. I love this everyday detail set. Of course, I stick my stamps on top. Bad habit. That's how I prep them. This is such a beautiful set. I can't say anything else more about it. When I first saw it in the catalog, I was not impressed. I'll just tell you right now, absolutely not impressed. By the way, I'm stamping in pecan pie. That's how we say where I'm from. It's pecan pie. And I am using the sentiment, wishing you so much on this special day. That's why I think you can do this as a birthday card or a Mother's Day card, to be honest, because you know it is a special day. All right, and I'm just going to give this a little pat, pat, pat. Just double check I'm stamped up. This is Juicy Juicy ink pad. I hope I don't put my face in the way so it can stamp. Now, I thought this was a little bit small for its space. So let me get, I'm going to get my chamois here just a second and clean this up. As clean as you go. I have the same rule in the kitchen when I'm cooking. All right, stick this over here. I didn't fill that up very well. So also included in this set are these cute, cute little dots. So I thought, oh, well, let's put some dots in here, which is just kiss the ink pad because, like I said, juicy, juicy pad. And I don't get too precious about lining things like this up, especially since this is a cling stamp set. So it's a little more difficult to see through. But these dots they weren't designed to be, you know, geometrically perfect. So I like things that you don't have to worry with. But I think just the little extra sort of filling up the space. Now, I know a lot of people like to write notes and things, but you still have, especially since we're using Petal Pink, or you can actually cut a secondary liner if you'd like, if you need space. Oh, we got a little boo-boo there. Oh, well. Do you know, I don't like that. I'm going to do it again. I know nobody has ever done that before. Just turned it over and worked on the other side. Okay, instead of talking so much, maybe I should pay attention to what I'm doing. Nah. But I'm learning how in my own, you know, journey as a crafter, and I don't know, I hate to say artist, so I don't consider myself an artist, but, you know, I'm creating something. So I work on it and I practice just, you know, just as if I were learning the piano, I suppose. I make lots of mistakes. You guys never see the mistakes I make. And I make a lot of what Stampin' Up! Calls casing. So I make a lot of cards that somebody else came up with the original design. And so, and this is very, I mean, anybody who is a Stampin' Up! Person will absolutely tell you this is the way we work, is we share everything. So case actually means copy and share everything. So I work on I do a lot of casing. And I try my level best to tell people, I am really having an issue with this right now. Oh, that looks good. I like to tell people who I'm casing from. When you're casing from the catalog, obviously we don't know who makes those. They're absolutely beautiful. But there we go. Let's kiss that down. Perfect. Oh, there we go. I like that. We get a little wet, but I don't know. I could go and over and over and over again, and I could drive myself crazy with perfection. But the truth is, these go to people who aren't card makers, and they really do appreciate what I do. And I think the people whom you send your cards to appreciate what you do as well. All right, so that one is going to be going on the inside. Now we are going to stamp our bird's nest on the outside. This stamp, if any of you guys have been stampers for a while, you know, you sort of get your favorite stamps. And I think anybody who has crafted has had the experience where you stamp something down, or you make something and you look at it and you go, oh, wow. This is an oh, wow stamp. It doesn't look like much. And sadly, I don't think it's going to look like much on the camera. But the first time I stamped this stamp, let me see if I can stop talking 30 seconds, not put my head in the way, stamp it down, and raised it up, and I went, oh, wow. The detail in this stamp, these tiny, tiny little lines are, I don't know, I find them breathtaking. Perhaps it's just me being completely silly. But I was so, I had that, oh my God, I did that sort of feeling. I'm not a big artist. I love to color, but you know, that's color books. But when I stamped this stamp, I've actually felt like I've done something. Now, I've used the dies a lot out of this set. I have not used the other stamps. I'm really, really looking forward to doing a lot more of that. But this particular stamp, I'm going to try to hold it up. I don't know if it's going to really show up on camera. But can you see the detail? No, you probably can't because I'm shaking. You see the detail in that? All of those little tiny fine lines. It's just, I don't know. You probably think I'm nuts. I'm just going on and on about this, but it really was. I raised that stamp up and I looked at it and I was like, wow, I did that. So anyway, if you're looking for a stamp that's going to make you go, oh wow, this is the one. Now, since on these on this card, these little birds made me think of robins. They're not. Robins don't have quite this much blue on them for sure. Not the robins where I'm from. But so I thought, well, I think the eggs have to be blue. They also match better. So this is the Balmy Blue color pencil from the, let's see, what set is this from? This is from the Watercolor Pencils assortment number 2. So I have both of these. I really enjoy these. I did experiment with doing watercolor with this, but I would have had to stamp with StazOn, which is wonderful ink, but it is black. And I think what made this stand out and feel so perfect was the fact that it was brown. The nest was brown. You don't think of eggs as black. Now what I'm doing is I'm really, really lightly, I'm coloring in little circles. And this is a color pencil trick. I don't know how many of you guys out there do this. And so I'm doing my first layer down really lightly, not pressing hard at all, just getting some of this color onto the paper. But for this, I wanted the feel of some texture on the eggs, and hence why you color in little circles, as opposed to being, you know, back and forth or around the edges. We are going to be coloring around the edges, but this is just a little trick. If you want something to feel like it has more texture, the unevenness of coloring little circles when you lay down your first layer makes a big difference. Now, they've already told us where the shadows are, which is super nice. So if you're coloring, and especially if you're a beginner colorer, they've already told you where the shadows are. So immediately what I want you to do is keep that circular feeling going and color over the top of those shadows. And we're just going to go all the way around because you know there will be some shadows on the nest. And that is our first set of shadows. And we're going to color a second set of shadows. Now remember, we're staying in our little circles, going round and round and round. Just be patient with yourself and the process. Now, since you know there's going to be a shadow on the other egg, because these two eggs are on top of this one, this egg is behind. So we're going to color a little more shadow on the behind for this one. Now I'm going to do some more shadows here. Now, if I were painting, I would be applying this a little differently. Colored pencil's a different medium. Now see, I'm going up this side here with more of my little circles, going round and round and round. Now that's your first layer of shadow in here. Now what we want to put in here is the light. So shadows here, this side, and this side, which has got to mean the light's coming from here. You guys got that? So the lightest part of the egg is going to be here, here, and here. It was easy because they told us where the shadows are, but now we have to make the light part stand out by adding in an additional shadow. So this, again, is done very, very lightly, but this is the full part of the egg because it's round. So anytime you're coloring a round thing, you want to color on the edges, and you always color the edges. So this goes for vases if you are coloring in a vase, if you're coloring in, you know, an orange, anything that is round, you're pretty much going to go all the way around the edges when you do this. So I know you guys probably know how to color, but I like talking about it. Coloring is one of my favorite things. Now let's do around here. Now see, this egg is sitting in there a bit strange because this would be more of the pointy end of the egg. So it's more flat. It's not as round as it would be here. So we're going to put just a tiny bit more shadow on the edges here, so your round bit comes out in the right place, because your round bit is coming here. So I hope you guys can see this. Just a quick little color lesson. Most of the Stampin' Up! Stamps, which is one of the things I love about them, especially if you're a beginning colorer, they have these shadow lines on them. Okay, and I hope you can tell that on the camera. It shows up really well in person. But now you have eggs that actually have a bit of depth to them. And it didn't take much. And I, like I said, I used the watercolor pencil. Hopefully you can see some depth and some, I don't know what you call it. Yeah, depth. It's got some depth to them. All right, now we're going to do something that is, I haven't done it in a long time. There used to be a huge push for making things look aged. And I do still really love that look, antique look. One of the things that, it's literally called fly specking. That sounds disgusting because you know what fly specks are. However, we're going to fly speck this just because I think it's a bit stark. So I wanted to add a little more to it. And besides, if speckles came up on the eggs, well, eggs, mostly wild bird eggs, do have lots of speckles on them. So what I'm using is, this is the bronze Stampin' Blend. It came in a set, the bronze and the ivory. I think it's more designed for coloring skin tones. I think, I'm not sure, but anyway, this is the one I'm using. You can use, if you have it, the Pecan Pie Stampin' Write marker. I just happen to have this one to hand. And I've done it with the Stampin' Write many times. I had never done it with this one, so I thought, oh, well, let's give it a try. Now, the first time I saw this done, I went, oh my God, my markers. I really had a panic, but don't panic, don't panic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flick the ink from the marker onto this. So, and the way you do that is you whack it on the edge. So I'm flicking it on the edge. I hope you can see this. Fly specks. Ta-da! Now, because I'm a bit weird about stuff like this, I've got a little paper towel to clean this up, especially because I will get it all over my fingers. Just clean up the edge, and that is it. And this is dry already. Isn't that great? Which is, if I'd been using the other one, it probably wouldn't have been as dry. I wouldn't have been brave enough to just run my fingers through it. But I think the fly speck ink gives it just a little more depth to the picture, makes it more interesting, and I think I inadvertently matched the specks here, which is bizarre, but you know, I think sometimes we do things unconsciously. All right, now we're going to put it all together. Remember, we're going to go backwards here. So, and since I don't like putting glue on white paper, and I learned this from my team leader, Liz, because she's completely right. Sometimes glue on white paper will leave a shadow. So I use my, oh, come on. Oops. Got too warm in my craft room here. So everything's it's sticky all around. Come on, sweetie. Well, it's sticky. There we go. Yeah, now it's all over me. Hooray! Okay, and now we're going to put this down here. Line up the three sides. Now, and as I was mentioning before, if you like to do a lot of writing, you still have this area of the card over here to write to. If you're not a big writer, you can just say, you know, love you. You know, I would say, love you, Lori, but there we go. I happen to like to write, so let's use this. Going to have a bit of glue here. Put this down. Oh, so my fingers now. Okay, we're going to line this up here. I do like using glue. You get a bit of slit, which is nice. All right, now, before we glue everything together, we have one more thing to do. We need to put our threads on. This is Baker's Twine, one of my favorite things. It comes in a 5-pack like this. This is Baker's Twine Essentials, and I've actually just about used up the white. But I use these a lot because there's a little more to this than if you use the linen thread. It's just a little bit heavier. I think it makes nicer bows, but the linen thread looks good as well. Now, because I am a major fan of glue dots, I mean, I'm not, but I am. If you want something to stay where you put it, glue dot it, because it ain't gonna move. Now, this is gonna be on top of here. So I've cut 2 threads here. This is really, really rough. I'm a terrible bow tire, so I tend to leave myself a lot of slack. All right, so I've got one's longer than the other. Well, let me look up here and get this measurement for you here. This is okay, the longer one is 40 centimeters or 16 inches. The shorter one, which I'm using now, is 27 centimeters by 10.5. So roughly, going to stick this down so it comes through the middle here, like this, and I'm just going to give it a little link. There we go. So that stays there. Now I'm going to put my greeting up on dimensionals, because everybody needs dimension in their life. Let's see. All right. I think this one's a bit big, so since this card has layers, I'm giving it a little extra support here. Does anybody else find these all over your house? Because I wear socks so much, they stick to my socks. I've trailed them around everywhere. All right, and now we're going to set this up, giving ourselves the same amount of space all the way around. Come on. I don't know, that looks crooked to me, but I don't think it is actually. All right, so there's one of our strings. The other string is going to go on the back side here. So let's get our... Now this is the longer one, because this string is actually going to wrap around the back side of the card. Let's get this out of the way. Now I'm going to tell on myself. The first time I was doing this, I accidentally glued the wrong tail and I glued it like this. Yeah. It's so good to beat the klutz. That's one thing I can always be sure of, is if it can be screwed up, I will. Now, and that's roughly in the center. Oh, look, I have a little fly speckled fingernails. Cool. Right, now we glue this down. Make sure your tails are free. Now, you can use tear and tape here. Let me check your glue on that. You can pretty much use anything to put this down. I think glue works just fine. And in the long run, once the glue dries, I think it's going to be a bit firmer, so it's less likely to come apart. Now, folding this flap out of the way, here's this. I'm centering this up on this background here. Got it? Yes. And let's put this down. I like to use my bone folder, spread any of this glue out that wants to not play games. And guys, check that out. Wrap this around the back and tie her closed. Okay, and I'm going to tie it on camera, so everybody can have a good laugh and make you feel better. Oh, come on now. Make sure it's lined up. Nice. As you see what I was talking about, I gave myself lots of thread here because klutz. A lot of this is because my hands are very dry. And the thing is, if I put hand cream and come in here and start working, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to get oil spots on my card. And that is going to be upsetting. All right, there we go. Big loose floppy bow. And I overdid this. Now hopefully you'll watch the video before you actually make one. And I'm going to snip these edges off because this is a bit excessive. There we go. Okay. Tell me what you think. I enjoy putting this together for you guys. These colors, I usually like brighter colors, but I think this worked out really well. This is a very pleasant to look at card, very springy. Oh, I almost forgot. We need our bling. Now, I got these free as well. These are called Opaque Faceted Gems. When I first looked at them, I'll be honest with you, I went, oh, yuck. That's, no, yuck. However, they're actually really pretty because they are faceted. I don't know if you can tell in the light, but look how they sort of have a little bit of gleam. So that was fun. And I thought, since we've got a bow on this side, I know the trend right now is to, where's my thing? Is to do 3. But I thought in this case, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm just going to put 1 on here because I want, the point of using the gems is for your eye to travel around. But since your eye is already focused on here, I just put this bit of shine down there because I wanted to, I don't know, I just felt like it would sort of pull the eye around. You could, of course, you could put another one here, you can put them there or here or here, but this was my decision, and I hope you make an awesome decision on your card. But I hope you can see that. Just a little bit of sparkle there. Okay, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. If you are watching the replay on YouTube, hit that like button and subscribe. If you were watching me on Facebook, you can still like me. But I hope you have a lovely crafty day. Thanks again.